Hey, wise. Y'all saying, Coach C, you late. You done clocked out. You done clocked all the way out. Hey. I know, y'all. I was trying to decide if I was going to even come on tonight at all. I was like, I'll just wait and go live on Sunday. Good evening. I was like, I just wait to go live on Sunday. But then I came home and I ended up finishing my date night with my boo a little bit earlier. So I said, okay, well, let me just pop in. He has work in the morning. I have a small group in the morning, but I wanted to come on anyways and talk to y'all. What's going on? Happy Self-Care Friday. I know I'm in a different position. Y'all getting me from my kitchen. And I didn't really plan for nothing because, like I said, I was gonna come on Sunday. But this week, baby, y'all know I have to come on and talk to y'all because this week it's been a week. Y'all know we just had this little storm that just passed, and I didn't even know we was gonna have a storm. First of all, let me just back up, okay? Y'all know Coach C have to give y'all the rundown. My assignment and the things that God has called me to is what holds me accountable. And so, let me just go all the way back to Monday. All right. So on Monday, like I say, that's usually a time where I, put in some time with the Lord and pray for things specifically or whatever. And I think I had a patient. I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, but the patient basically came in the office and was like, "Oh, we have this storm coming this week." And I was like, "We got a storm coming where?" He's like, "Oh, we got a storm coming this week, this and that and whatever." And look, I don't watch the news. And so I always get stuff either through third party, through somebody else, or unless the Holy Spirit tells me. And so I was like, "Oh, okay." 2 weeks prior to this storm, I had been hearing this song from Jodeci, and I think I had shared it with y'all. But that song was like weighing in my spirit heavy, and I was like, "What in the world? Do you believe in love?" And I kept on saying, why I keep on hearing this song over and over again? I wanna love you for life. I'm like, why am I hearing Jodeci? Like, I hadn't listened to it. I hadn't played it. And I'm bringing this up. Wait, because this man might be coming downstairs now. I might have to pause. Oh, okay. That's not him. Stop playing. Your food is over there. And so I had been hearing that. I'm going live. I know this is not my normal area, my spot, but I wasn't sure if I was going to go live or not. So get your food so I can finish, please, because I'm interrupting my live with the people. So I had been hearing that song like real loud in my spirit, and I couldn't understand why that song was playing so loud in my ear. And so then today, after the storm and everything done passed, and I went through my week, which I'm going to go back through, the song came in my spirit again. And so this time I feel like, let me go ask my husband, do he remember this song? Or like, has he heard this song recently? Or so I said, do you know what this song is? So I had played it, a little nip, a little piece of it for him. And he was like, yeah, everybody know that song. I said, what does that song mean to you? I'm just trying to pick his head and see where he was at. Like, what does that song, mean to you? He was like, it's a song about love. Like, what you mean? And I was like, oh, okay. I said, because for some reason, the Lord had put that song in my spirit, and I just really don't know, what was the reason, for him to put that song in my spirit. So let's go back through the week. So when the person had told me that we was having a storm or whatever this week, I'm like, okay. Well, Coach T fell for the bait this week. Let me just say that. I fell for the bait, and I got myself in a sticky situation, okay? it's always a sticky situation when the Lord is trying to teach me something and then I have to come and share it with the people. And so during that time, this was like just before the storm had happened. During that time, I felt like the Lord was like, nothing just happens. I don't just allow things to happen. Everything that happens, it happens. It's a reason behind it. And if I allow something to take place, I'll allow it to take place, whether good, bad, or indifferent. You can get a lesson from it. You can, receive a blessing from it. Something you're going to receive from it. So for some odd reason, my lessons always comes from something in my marriage. I'd be like, God, why do you do that? And it never fails. It never fails. Whatever that situation may be, or whatever I may be like, encountering, God will send me a client, or I will have some kind of interaction with my client where they may be going through the same thing, or they may be having like, some of the same things going on, or what have you. And so sure enough, me and Mrs. T had our little talk. And we had to, work some things out, and it was worked out. But I had a early morning session this week, and baby, when I tell you the same exact situation that me and Mrs. T had just occurred, the Lord was like, okay, now minister to this person. What are you gonna tell? Like, what will you tell this person? And so I heard God tell me this week, which is what I was going to, share about being set apart, right? About being set apart. And of course I asked him, give me a Bible verse that I can reference, that I can share with the people about being set apart and why it's so important for us to be set apart. So he gave me Colossians, and let me just pull it up. He gave me Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 to 17. And it says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Now, when you hear those words, it automatically would think, it brings you to the fruit of the Spirit, make you remind you of the fruit of the Spirit. And ever since we had our wife appreciation event, that is something that God has really, really been, pressing in on me about prioritizing the fruit of the Spirit. One of the things that the doctor shared was, when all else fail, make sure that you're prioritizing the fruit, right? When all else fail, make sure you're prioritizing the fruit. So when you hear, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Verse 15. Let the peace, come on, Jesus, because that was the fruit that I had to prioritize this week. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. And the word of the Lord is already blessed. Listen, the fruit of the Spirit that I had to prioritize this week was peace, right? It was peace. And God highlighted the importance of being set apart and why it is crucial. It is so crucial in this season. I think I shared with y'all a couple of videos ago that we are in our lurking season. The enemy is on, high, patrolling different things, different areas, because this is the time in the season when a lot of spiritual activities happen, and you have to learn how to apply wisdom. Yes, you want to have your word in your heart. You want to have something that you are meditating on, that you are sitting with, that you are chewing on. But you have to also know how to be able to apply wisdom. And so God was pointing out to me the importance of being set apart. Being set apart. And one of the things I share with my wife clients all the time is the assignment that you are on and the things that God have you doing. It is not normal. Okay? This is not a normal assignment. What I do even as a coach is not a normal assignment. God always highlights to me, Tanika, when I call you, I'm calling you because disaster is here. I'm calling you because we got to bring out the big guns. I'm calling you because you have been set apart for a specific assignment, for a specific call, for a specific role, for something specific. And so when I call you, I don't necessarily call you for the surface-based stuff. I call you for like the heavy hitter stuff. One of the things God wanted me to share, and like I said, I was going to share, is help wives to know and understand that this assignment is much more than just their role as wife. But wives really need to find out in this season, who am I in the spirit realm? Who am I? When I show up on scene, when I walk into the room, when I come in the building, when my presence is announced, who am I in the spirit realm? And what do I represent? That was a question that God had been putting in my heart and wanted me to share. Wives need to find out about who they are in the spirit realm. Because some of the times, the things that you may encounter, some of the things that we may go through, it's almost like, dang, this was hard. Like, God, this was really hard. This almost like knocked me out. Why am I dealing with this? Why am I going through? Who am I? Who am I? And y'all know I like to reference the movie with Will Smith, Hancock, right? Y'all know I like to reference that movie. And one of the things that he said was he wanted to figure out who he was, like who am I, right? One of the things I have been highlighting with my wife lately, if you're on my email list and seeing any of my recent videos, I talked about, we were going to talk about King Her, right? And the importance of knowing who you are in your identity in the Lord. Wives, you have to know what you are coming up against is not a normal, a regular, what's the word? A mundane or original type of assignment. Wives got to figure out who they are in the spirit realm. Why am I going through so much in my marriage? Why am I dealing with so much hardship? Why am I getting hit with so many different things? Why are the challenges that I'm facing increasing? Why does it seem so hard? Who am I? And what is God training you for in this season? Right? What is it that God is training you for? Who are you supposed to be in the kingdom? What type of authority that God is positioning you for? And I highlight those things because I share with wives all the time. I was you. I was in the same place and space that you were in once. And I always tell wives, it does not mean just because, I've had some victories and I've had some highs and I had some, things that take place in my marriage that, I had overcome. You have to understand that the assignment gets harder. The assignment gets harder. You say, well, I thought don't we come to an end? Like, don't we come to a place where the assignment ends? Yeah, but that assignment ends and you get another assignment, 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 and those assignments get harder, y'all. I'm here to tell you, they get harder. Nobody could have prepared me or told me that once God brought my husband home, restored our marriage, we was reconciled, he came back home, that we was going to go backwards. He would relapse. We would have to deal with, some trials and traumas again, get things back to a healthier place, get, back in a healthy place, but still having to deal with just day-to-day marriage stuff. And then when God calls you to the front row, he calls you on the front line, and he petitions you to do certain things, and you like, God, am I ready for that? Like, God, can I handle that? I think I had shared my email on last week. Like, sometimes as a coach, we want to know that we are holding up our end. When I say holding up our end, we're doing what God is telling us to do, right? We're doing what God has asked us to do. And that's something that I always question, like, God, am I doing this right? Because I'm telling y'all, Coach T ain't no different from any other of you, all right? I have hiccups. I have shortcomings. We all fall short. I'm a married woman just like you are a married woman. And just because my husband is home does not mean that we don't have interactions, don't mean that we don't have disagreements, don't mean that Coach T sometimes forget. But this is why I feel like God has me in this place, because this holds me accountable. So when I want to go backwards or act a certain type of way, I have to remember who I am and who God is calling me to be, and what the authority that He has given me, and not wanting to lose that position, not wanting to, having to go all the way back to, to the end of the line and start over. Wives, you are set apart. You have been chosen. This assignment that God has you on is not a normal assignment. When they use the word orthodox, this is an orthodox type of assignment. This is true. This is not something easy. When I coach wives and I explain to them how they have to literally carry their marital cross, and I question, are you ready for that? Can you handle that? Are you sure this is something God has called you to? Have you been set aside for this specific assignment? Because the things that comes with this, it's going to test you. You're going to know whether or not, are you going to be rolling with the big dogs, or are you going to get kicked off and moved to the side, right? Because you're going to encounter certain things. So going back through my week, getting prepared for this, for this storm or whatever, having my disagreement, with the mister, because we married people, and married people have disagreements sometimes. But one of the things about that, and why the fruit of the Spirit was so important this week, because I remember what the lady had said, and one of the things that she had said was, make sure that you are prioritizing the fruit. When you get to a place where you don't have the answers, when you get to a place where you are frustrated, when you go to the Bible, which is the final authority, when you go to the Bible and that's not even sitting with you, like it ain't working, because sometimes you can read the Bible, it's like, oh, I ain't feeling it. Sometimes you can hear a worship song, it's like, they ain't working this time. But sometimes you can hear a message or hear something that will bring you back to that place, and that can do it. And so that was what did it for me on this week. And I remember her highlighting, the fruit, anchoring the fruits of the Spirit. And so the fruit of the Spirit that Coach T had to anchor this week was peace. It's like, one of the things I had to keep asking myself was, Tanika, do you want to have peace? Right? Do you want to have peace, or do you want to have opposite of peace, right? Do you want to have peace, or you have opposite of peace? Because one thing about my Mr. C, honey, when he have his mind made up about something, it ain't nothing that nobody can tell him or say to him that's going to make him change his mind, all right? And sometimes I try to play my wife card. I try to play my wife card and see if I can maneuver in some areas. But once his mind is set on something, it's set on something. So we came to the end of the week. We got through the storm. We was able to, have some time here together. As of, they closed my kids' school. My husband, had a day off. I had a day off. Then we had, some half days. So, we had that time. And one of the things I'm thankful for is maintaining that peace, right? Maintaining that peace. Because, baby, it ain't nothing like being in the house with somebody. It ain't no peace. And so we was real intentional about maintaining that peace. And so today was a half a day at work. And I was coming home. I almost feel like God was like tapping me on my shoulder like, hey, what did you learn about yourself this week, Tanika? This is a question I ask my wife clients. When my wife clients, they be like, well, Coach T, where you get these questions? Listen, the same stuff I ask you, this is the same stuff that God asks me and say to me. And God asked me, what did I learn about myself this week? And what did I learn from the storm, right? What did I get from the storm? Because I don't think it was really a storm. It was just like a lot of heavy raining, blowing of the trees. And I'm thankful for that. It wasn't nothing major or anything. And so I said, well, what I think I learned this week is, I think one of my clients had shared this too. Like they said, the enemy doesn't have any new tricks. I learned that the enemy definitely doesn't have any new tricks, right? There was a bait set up for me this week, and I partake in the bait, right? I went for it, and when I did that, I had to make a decision whether or not I was going to prioritize that piece or if I was going to be, on the other side of that. And so, no, the enemy does not have any new tricks. And so what God showed me, what I was able to, recognize is that distractions are real. Self-awareness is so important, and you have to be intentional about that. Self-talks is a must, right? If I did not know how to parent myself, if I did not know how to self-talk myself or talk myself down, things could have went way worse than what they turned out to be. So I have learned the gift of self-parenting myself and how to talk to myself. One of the things, what David said, you have to learn how to encourage yourself, right? And so I recognize like that is something that is definitely needed, right? So the enemy doesn't have any new tricks. Distractions are real. I was being self-aware. Self-awareness is, something that self-talks, having those self-talks. And then don't stop praying for your husband. Because a lot of times wives think that once their husband gets home, once things are back in a healthy place, once, they have, God has answered their prayers, it's like, whew, we made it. We here. And it's like, no, no, you don't come to a place of arrival on this journey. This is a place of ongoing. There are ongoing strategies that the Lord will share with you. There are ongoing things that God will continue to share with you. You are forever a disciple. You are always a student in this space. And the moment a wife stops being a student, the moment a wife stop allowing God to disciple her, it's when she misses it. Right? I been walking with God long enough to know and recognize, God, I cannot go without being discipled by you. I cannot go without you giving me my daily bread. I cannot go without you guiding me and leading me. I cannot go. And so that was something that stood out to me. And God brought to my attention, Tanika, you was praying for your husband really, really heavy, early in the week. And because you do it, you did that. Let me see who this is, because they be trying to come out here and interrupt my okay. And because you did it, because he in the bed now. He in the bed now. We didn't have our moment. I'm coming up and trying to talk to the people. See, because you have teenagers who don't go to school, and so they down here. Can you please? Because I'm trying to talk to the people. Because you messing up my thoughts. You're messing up my thoughts. Hey, y'all up late tonight? What's going on? Oh, yeah, that's yours. So the enemy was, so the Lord had reminded me that, because you was praying so hard for your husband early in the week, you received, backlash comes with that, right? You have to understand when you are set apart and when you are chosen and you are called to a specific assignment that's very unusual as this one, you have to know that the enemy is going to constantly ride you, right? He's going to hoover over you. He's going to send lurkers out. He's going to send all kinds of distractions. He's going to send all kinds of little memes to come for you, right? And so one of the things I had shared with one of my wife clients this week, I know a lot of times, and listen, y'all, this is no shade against ones who fast or, take time out to consecrate themselves by, coming off of social media. Coming off of social media is part of, if that's the way that you want to fast, that is part of that. But listen, y'all, sometimes you have to go deeper. You have to do more. Sometimes you do have to push yourself and say, hey, I'm not gonna eat, for a couple of hours, or I'm gonna try to go a half day, or I'm gonna try to fast from like 6 to 6. Sometimes, wife, you have to go deeper on this journey in order to get the strategy, the next strategy, or in order to get the next instruction that you need to get from God. Sometimes just fasting from social media is not necessarily enough. Right? And so this is why I always tell my wife clients, if you can't fast at least once, if I encourage my wife clients to fast twice a week at least. But if you can't do it twice a week, at least do it once a week, right? And so that's something that that's just something that just made Coach T who she is. That was just part of my journey and how I seen me fasting when I was going through my separation. I seen God move. I seen God's hands in my situation when I did that. So when I share with wives to fast, it's not because I'm just saying it because we supposed to fast. No, this is something that I have seen God move. That's why I the anointed oil, fasting, that devotion time, praying in the spirit. Listen, those things, I see the hands of God move in my situation. And so I was doing that this week. I was doing that this week. And because I share so much with others, anytime I come on, I have to always cover myself. I have to always ask God to send his extra angels to surround me, because I always get hit with stuff on the back end of this. And so the Lord had brought that to my attention. You was praying and fasting for your husband this week a lot. And so don't think it's strange that you had that encounter. Don't think it's strange. And so when I came home, like I said, by the song Jodeci, do you believe in love? Like I said, that song was in my spirit, and I couldn't understand why the Lord woke me up 2 weeks ago from that with that song in my head. And so it came back to me, and I was like, well, God, what's this about? He said, I brought that song back to you because I wanted you to know, I wanted you to be reminded, do you believe in love? Do you believe in where I have you and your husband? Do you believe that, how the Bible says, love covers a multitude of sin? Love covers these things. Do you believe that? Sometimes you have to just get through some things. There are some things I'm not going to take you out. There are some things I'm not going to remove. There are some things I'm not going to necessarily fix. But I want you to be so firm in your love, that in your love for me, that I'm going to get you through this. And that was what I seen God do this week. I thought me and that man, like I said, we just came back from date night. I thought me and that man ain't gonna be talking after what had occurred. But God showed me that love conquers all. And I always reference my tattoo. He said you have to always go back to that place, right? You have to always go back to that place. You have to go back to those things. So I put that on your spirit because I wanted you to be reminded. This love is for life. Marriage covenants. Marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime covenant. It's a lifetime covenant. And so even when the enemy try to set traps, and even when the enemy try to put up bait, and even when the enemy try to do this, I can use those things and still work it out for your good. But you have to be intentional about the decision you're going to make. And like I said, the decision I had to make was I had to choose whether or not I was going to prioritize the fruit. And the fruit that I chose to prioritize was peace. Because I could have went a whole different way with this. This could have went a whole different way. And this end of the week wouldn't have been like it ended. And so, wife, you have to understand you are set apart. You have been set apart. God has called you to this place, and you have set apart. You have to know and realize and find out who you are in the spirit realm. When you show up, things shift. When you come in the room, When you come in the building, things take place. It's a unseen world that's taking place and going on around you, and that's what God had to show me this week. Tanika, I don't call you for the little stuff. I don't call you for the little simple little baby stuff. No, I got other people doing that. When I call you in the room, when I put you on, when I call you in the building, you have to know it's time to go to war. It's time to go to war. When you show up, people are going to know something has shifted in the building. And why you need to know what you've been training for. Why has God set you apart? Why has God called you to this place? Why has God put you on this assignment? Why are you in this hard place? God, this is so hard. God, I keep on going through the same stuff. God, why does this man not get it? God, why are you not changing my situation? I had to learn this week that there are some things that God is not going to necessarily fix. He's not going to necessarily change. He's not going to necessarily, do a miracle on. There are some things you're going to have to just go through. You're going to have to just go through, and you're going to have to trust that God is going to meet you on the other side. He's walking with you anyways. He's with you already. But you have to also know and understand when you get to the other side, God is going to be there with you as well. God is not going to fix every problem in your marriage. Coach T, still to this day, husband home, back, restored, all that kind of stuff. But there are still some times and some things that come up that is challenging. Not just challenging where it's like, okay, all right, it's mentally challenging. It's emotionally challenging. And it's like, I can't do anything about it. It's almost like when Paul talked about having that thorn, that thorn in my flesh that God didn't remove. And it's like, well, God, why you didn't remove this? This man was such a powerful man. This man was such a brilliant man, and he did so much for the kingdom. Why didn't you just remove these things? Why you didn't move this? And God said, because that kept him humble. And so there are some things in your marriage that God is not going to change or remove. There's some things in your marriage that God is going to allow to be right there. And that is how he keeps you humble. That is how he keeps you coming back to him. That is how he keeps you on your knees. That is how you can still fast and pray for your husband. That is how you can, when you walk in the building, you walk in as an authoritative. You're not just walking in because, oh, I'm just reading my Bible and I'm just, fasting from social media today. And no, honey. When I walk in a room, stuff shifts, things change. People know, oh, something about her is different. Oh, something about her is different. You got to find out, why did God set you apart, has set you apart, right, for this type of assignment? Because this type of assignment is not for the normal. This type of assignment is not for the mundane. This type of assignment is not for the ones who just like, oh, we just going through the motions. This type of assignment is like, oh, I want to do ministry with my husband. No. This type of assignment, baby, you are on assignment. And when you are on assignment, y'all get me worked up. Y'all getting me worked up. When you are on assignment, you have to know that thing can go on and off. You can be in the store, you can be at work, and that thing jump on you. It's like, wait, something's happened, something is moving, God is doing something. That spirit can jump on you and stuff can start shifting, and you don't even know, hey, something is moving, something is shifting, something's, wait a minute, God, what are you trying to say to me? What's going on? What is happening? What do I need to be aware of? What's coming? You got to know and find out why God called you, why he has set you apart on this type of journey. Who are you in the spirit realm? When the enemy sees you, why he fighting you so hard? Why he wants you down? Why he wants you to be mentally drained? Why he wants you to be emotionally wore out? Why he wants you to be physically wore out? Why he wants you to be spiritually unaware of things? Why he fighting you so hard? When the enemy is fighting you hard, you come up all against all this kind of hard stuff. You got to know you have authority. There is power and authority on your life. There's an anointing on you. And when you step in the room, things move, baby. When you come up in the room, things shift. But when you speak and you open your mouth, people listen because you have been set apart. And so Coach C had to learn that lesson. The very thing that lady talked about on Saturday about anchoring and prioritizing the fruits of the spirit, I had to make a decision. It's like I can, because listen, Baby, okay, I'm human, okay? We all fall short of God's glory. I can easily go back, especially when I feel like I'm being wrong, especially when I feel like I'm being mistreated, especially when I feel like, I am holding up my part of this, and that person is not necessarily. It's easy for you to kind of like fall into, like, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. wait a minute. No. We not going there again. We not doing this again. I'm not walking to this place with you. And God had to quickly bring me out of it. Like, wait a minute, girl, you you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You have to know every level that you're walking up. You're going to encounter a different devil. You're going to encounter some different things. Same tricks, same moves, but you just have to know how to be able to be strategic enough and see, okay, what he's doing here. You have to be able to read through the lines. You have to see what the tactics is that he's using and how he's getting to you. I'm going to share some quick transparency with y'all. Like I said, me and Mr. C, oh man, that man there. That's my baby, and I love him. One of the things that have been said to me before, and it was hard. It was hard to accept, because I sometimes question, like, God, why we had to go through all this stuff? God, I get emotional thinking about it. Why we had to go through all this? Why was this so hard? And one of the things my husband used to always tell me is, it don't matter what I do with these other women. It don't matter what I do with these other women. You're the only woman I love, right? And he would say it in such a cocky manner, or a way as if, I'm supposed to be okay with it. Like, them people don't mean nothing to me. I don't care about that. You the only person I love. And so my question is, like, well, if I'm the only person that you love, then why you got to do it then? If I'm the only person that you love, then why you can't just stop? And I remember the day my husband told me, he said, I don't know. He said, I don't know. I don't even know why I do it. I don't even know why I do it. And this is why I always tell wives, don't stop praying for your husband. Don't stop praying for him, because you never know what God is doing in his heart. You never know the conversations that God is having with him. And when things had started turning and getting into a better place, I remember him saying things to me like, God is dealing with me. He said, I don't really understand all of this. I don't really necessarily know, what's happening to me. But I do know that God is dealing with me. And even to this day, it's a specific song that we listen to, and I play it over and over again in our home. And every single time that song comes on, you can see my husband, the tears. Oh God, I'm getting emotional, running down his face. And it's in those moments when it's like, I am so thankful that I did not stop praying. I am so thankful that I did not give up. I am so thankful that I didn't let the small foxes, the marital anti-forces, the outside counsel, the strange woman, the addiction, the all the stuff that has tried to come to separate what God has joined together. And it was so refreshing to hear him say, baby, as long as I have breath in my body, I will be your husband. He don't know how that made me feel, especially after going through some of the hell we went through. He don't even know how much that means to me. So when we do date nights after a rough week, after a storm, after a disagreement, I have to be mindful of what fruit are you stewing. Because this can go a whole lot of different ways. But you get to make a decision. Wife, I have set you apart. And you have to be the one, as I tell my wives, you the watch guard over your home. You have to be able to recognize and know. I think I shared on my Instagram story that the enemy has an agenda for both the husband and the wife. He has an agenda for both the husband and the wife. He has an agenda for both the strongest and the weakest one. Right? If you're strong in the Lord, he has a plan for you. If you're weak in the Lord, he has a plan for you. If you're the one going to church and keeping the house lifted up, he has a plan for you. If you're the one not doing the right thing and you have gone astray, he has a plan for you as well. The enemy has a plan for anybody who is pursuing God's will, who is pursuing the things that God has called them to, who is following pursuit with the things and being obedient to the things that God has asked of them. The enemy doesn't like that. But I want to just encourage you on tonight. Find out who you are. What is your identity? What is your name in the spirit realm? When people see you, yes, they see the natural side of you, but what's behind that? What fruit are you carrying when you walk in the room? Come on, Jesus. What fruit do you bring into the room? When your foot walk into the room, what shifts? What changes? What happens? What happens in the atmosphere? What starts to change when you walk in? Today I had to go to work late, right? They had them close the building. They send a message out. Oh, we're gonna open up. We're gonna be delayed to about 12 o'clock. And I'm like, well, okay, I go ahead and go or whatever. And so when I got there, I was like, ain't nobody here. So I started making phone calls like, wait, because y'all, I could have stayed at the house. All right, my husband is home, my son is home. I could have been at the house. And so I started making calls. It's like, hey, are we opening? Are we going or whatever? It's like, oh yeah. So she said, well, let me give you the manager's, number to call. So I called or whatever. I was like, hey, I'm here. It was patience at the door. I don't have no key. I can't open the door for them. I'm the lab lady. I can't do nothing much for them anyways, even if I could open the door. I said, hey, y'all got some patients here, and I had received a message that y'all was gonna open up around 12. Are we still opening? So he's like, yeah. We, I'm 20 minutes away, right? I'm 20 minutes away. I'm like, oh, okay. So I waited or whatever. He ended up coming or whatever. And so when they went and opened the door and people started going in or whatever, when I walked in the room, it was like, hey. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. This, and that, whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But it's like I brought a light into that dark place. I brought a light into this dark area. It was like you can see this man frustration when him getting out of his car, like, I don't really want to be here. People was in there, but it's like when I came into the room, I noticed that a light went on. Like I noticed people started smiling, they started talking, they started asking questions. We started having conversations, and things changed, things shifted. Wife, who are you in the spirit realm? Why God has you in this training, and why is he using your marriage? Your marriage training. Come on, Jesus. I'm telling you, the things that you will learn in your marriage is unmatched. You can't learn some of this stuff in a day-to-day place. You can't learn this stuff in no school. You can't learn this stuff necessarily on the job. You can't learn this stuff necessarily just with a family. The things that God trains you in your marital hardship, and the things that you go through in your marriage is unmatched. The lessons that you learn, the things that you will start to see, the compassion that you have, the new perspective that you get, the revelation and wisdom that comes along with it is unmatched. You are set apart, wife, and God has set you apart for a specific reason. Find out why you're in training. Find out what the lesson is that he wants to teach you. What is it that he wants you to grow through? What is it that he wants you to mature in? What is it that he wants you to learn? Who are you? Y'all know I share with y'all all the time. When God came to me, to think you would be like a Deborah. Oh, I don't want to be no Deborah. Now, if you know my background, I was a little rough and stuff, back in my day. I had a little roughness going on. I'm real good with sharp objects. I'm real good. It ain't a coincidence that I draw blood for a living, right? And so when God was like, you're gonna be like a Deborah, I'm like, I know Deborah's story. Deborah was a warrior. And that's one thing that the Lord always brings to my attention. I know who I am. So I know anybody. And I remember, at times with my kids, when God really, really had me, in something, they will receive the backlash of things because of who I was. They will receive things. And I remember just praying and asking, like, God, like, don't allow them to have to go through the stuff because of who their mother is, because of who I am. Don't allow them to have to go through certain things. And I feel like God shifted that thing. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to put it all on you. I know who I am in the spirit realm. I know who God has called me to be in the kingdom. I know when God said, I don't call you for the little small mundane surface stuff. When you show up, things happen. When you show up, we get ready to go to war. When you show up, some things, you are going, how Denzel say, I'm leaving out of here with something, okay? You would not walk into this place and be the same. When you come into my presence or I come into your presence, you are not going to be the same. I know what my authority is. Like, you got to find out who you are. You have to find out why God has set you aside, set you apart, put you in this place, have you on this assignment. Your training is in your marriage, and it's unmatched. God is trying to teach you something. God is trying to show you something about yourself, because there is work for you to do here in the kingdom. So listen, let me read y'all little messages real fast. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all night. Hey. I love the bloopers. Child, listen. If you're talking about with my child coming in here interrupting my conversation, I keep asking, what did I get myself into? Just got my answer. Baby, I'm telling you, you never know. Yes, now I see I was going through quite a bit this week. The enemy big man, but I got the victory. Absolutely. You're gonna get the victory. You're going to get the victory. The enemy stay big mad with wives who are standing for a marriage that the world has deemed over. Like, why are you even doing this? Why are you even in this marriage? How did David, when he went to talking to the people, they was asking, who are these people, this uncircumcised people, talking about my God? Listen, the things that God will have you to do. Let me say this. This is the other thing. This is the other thing on the top of my mind. People, and this is a true story. People will be. And this is part of what I was experiencing. People would be jealous of your strength. People will be jealous of your strength. People will be jealous of your tenacity. People will be jealous of how you made a decision to endure and maybe they could not. Right? People are jealous of that, because a lot of people couldn't walk this mile. A lot of people couldn't walk in your shoes or my shoes. A lot of people couldn't withstand that. And so because they couldn't do that, they criticize it. They say negative things about it. They shoot arrows and flames, and they try to do all kinds of things to destroy y'all. I can't emphasize how I have been persecuted as a wife, and even to this day I still deal with that persecution. Hate it, because I made a decision to believe God. I made a decision to simply obey him. I made a decision to just follow and do what he has asked me to do. And because of my obedience, and because I persevere, and because I made a decision to walk with God, to this day, I am persecuted. Don't think that my marriage does not come under attack. And it's not necessarily always just because of me and my husband. It's because of a lot of things that takes place on the outside. People have to be so careful about who they invite in a circle. Family too, y'all. Family too. Because sometimes those are the ones that crush you the most, right? And so find out why you are in this training. Find out why you have been set apart. Find out why God is training you in this season, and find out why the devil is fighting you so hard. Why is he fighting you so hard? Why? I sometimes ask God, I must got something that you want me to do for this stuff to be happening like this, and for this stuff to come up, and for me to have to still endure some of these things. I must have something for you to do. Now, there is a difference. There is a difference between having a thorn on your side and the Lord allowing the enemy to have his way with you. But in the midst of him having his way with you, he's teaching you something. He's preparing you for something. He's getting you ready for something. You have to know, for every victory that you won or you win, that's another level of authority that God gives you. But you get to decide, wife, whether or not that victory is won. And a big part of that victory being won is remembering that you are a representative of Christ. Remember that you have to anchor the fruits of the Spirit. And remember that you have to be intentional about your decision. A lot of times that means I have to self-talk. I have to fast. Me, Coach T, still to this day, I have to do things that a lot of wives are just not willing to do. Because I recognize where I'm at in the position that I'm in. And I recognize if I don't do these things, if I don't safeguard my home this way, if I don't pray this way, if I don't cover this way, if I don't speak these things, if I don't do these things, that enemy is waiting for, what's the word, an opportune time to come in and to devour. He's waiting. Like I said, Coach T, this week I took the bait. And the reason, being transparent, I took the bait because, like I said, I don't feel like I deserve that. I have went through too many years of hell. So when that situation came up, it was like, no. I'm not going to deal with that. But I had to recognize and see that the enemy planted this here for me to see it, for me to take it, so that I can cause conflict and confusion between you and the mister. But God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. And I'm just a believer that if you are following his steps, you are doing what he's saying, and you are obeying him, and you are being led by the Spirit, you can't go wrong. You won't fail. God gonna walk you through it every single time. I love the days now where I can love up on my husband and we can go on dates. And one time he wouldn't even get in the car with me. He used to be scared. He be like, "Where we finna go? What you doing? What you up to?" He used to be scared to even get in the car with me. Now he sit back and he let me drive him, and we go and we eat and we talk and kiss on each other. I say that not as a boast. I say that because I went through a lot of stuff to get to that place. And so because I went to a lot of stuff to get to that place, I'm not going to just let the enemy come and just shake those things up without applying wisdom. God called you to this place, wife. Get the lesson. Get what it is that he's trying to teach you. Figure out who you are in the kingdom. Figure out who you are in the spirit realm and why the enemy is fighting you so hard. Because I can guarantee you, I can guarantee you, the authority that God has given you, the anointing over your life, baby, it's bigger than your marriage. It's bigger than your marriage. A lot of stuff I went through and have endured in my marriage, I use those lessons and use those things in my day-to-day walk. I apply those same principles. I apply those same practical steps. I do those same things in my day-to-day. It's the things that I learned in my marriage that has equipped me, that has strengthened me, that has built me up, that has given me wisdom, that has allowed me to be in the place I'm in right now. It's what I went through in my marriage. So I recognize I am set apart, and because I'm set apart, I have to be strategic about me. I have to be strategic about self-caring for myself. I have to be strategic about, when not necessarily isolating myself, but setting myself apart from the rest. There are certain things I cannot watch. There are certain things that I cannot engage in. There are certain things in places that I just cannot go, right? There's just certain things that I just cannot do because I recognize who I am in the spirit realm. And then I'm so thankful for the times that when correction is needed and God disciplined me, he allows that grace and he deals with me behind the scenes. And every single time, I come and share with y'all anyways, because there's always a lesson in it. Every single time, and then he would use a client of mine. He would use a situation to come up where that same very thing that he was teaching me something on, I have to turn around now and minister that to another wife or share that with somebody else. Y'all, you have been set apart for a specific reason. Find out who you are, right? Find out who you are. That's it. I just want to come on. I want to check in because I wasn't sure if I was going to be, able to come, but I did. And I wanted to just share that with y'all. Hope that y'all receive something from it. Hope that y'all was able to receive something from this. And listen, be on guard. Just be on guard and just know that the enemy is he has a plan, but God's plan will triumph his plan every single time if you, wife, are intentional about prioritizing the fruits. If you are intentional about being guided and led by the Holy Spirit, if you are intentional about doing what does said the Lord, if you are intentional about the assignment that God has given you, find out why has God called you to this place. This thing is bigger than your marriage. Your marriage is just a training ground. All right. If you are a wife and you are ready to do your own personal work, I want to encourage you to sign up for your wife consultation today. You can do so at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. If you're not on my email list, get on my email list. I'll be sharing some insight, wisdom, just share things with you guys on a regular basis, just to kind of keep you motivated, encouraged. I might pop up again later on this weekend if something come up, but I wanted to just be transparent tonight and share that with y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a good night. All right. Love you. Blessings.